So in today's video, we're going to talk about Facebook ads. This video is targeted towards beginners. So for those of you who have no idea how to create Facebook ads, make sure to watch this video. I'll lay a foundation so you guys can move forward from here. Now, if you want a secondary source of reference, make sure to check out my website, mrecom.com. And in there, you'll be able to download a free ebook, which I talk about drop shipping, and I go a little bit more in depth than I do in this video. So make sure you go ahead and download that. The ebook is free. Now let's go ahead and get on with the video. The first thing you guys want to do is head over to Facebook, go to your ads manager. Then you can go over here in the screen button over here on your left hand side, click on that. So that should bring you up here in the objective part of the ad. We're going to go ahead and select conversions. Don't worry about this. I won't talk about this in this video. That's going to be for a later video. Then we're going to go down here, change the campaign name to whatever we want to change it. In this case, we're going to go with test. Make sure to leave this how that is. You don't have to worry about that. Click continue. And now we're in the ad set section of the ad. So in here, we want to go ahead and select what our pixel is going to do. For those of you who don't know what a Facebook pixel is, make sure to go ahead and check out my free ebook. I'll explain a little bit more, but just in a nutshell, it's a way for Facebook to track what's going on your website through the ads. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to track the conversion rate. In this case, we're going to want it to track how many people purchase from us. You could go ahead and set it up for all these things, how many people added to the cart, how many people initiate a checkout, but we're going to go ahead with purchases. So now that we've selected that, I want you guys to focus on this section right here on the right hand side. Now, this is going to change depending on our settings. You see this right here, you always want it to be in green. That's typically the sweet spot. If you're too broad, whenever you try to go ahead and target people and you're too broad, you're going to be targeting a bunch of people who might not even be interested in what you're trying to sell. Now, if you're too specific, you're going to run into another issue. You might not be able to find as many people as you want, therefore making it harder to actually get conversions, because Facebook's going to try really hard to focus on those really specific people. But let's just say you want to target 1,000 people and there's only 300. There's only so much it could do. So always make sure to stay within the green. If you're too broad, it's not going to work. If you're too specific, you might get away with it for a little bit, but you're going to run out of an audience. So we look down and we see the estimated daily reach. It's 970 to 6,100 people. This is going to change depending on our settings and our budget. Now the conversions, this is what Facebook predicts our conversion ratio is going to be, or how many conversions we're going to get. So they predict we're going to get between 16 to 100 conversions. And this is obviously going to change as soon as we start playing around with these settings. Now for custom audiences, don't worry about that. That's only if you guys have previously been running ads and you have this custom audience that you guys want to target. So don't have to worry about that. Location, this is obviously where you want to target your ad. Who do you want your ad to be shown to? So if you want people from the United States, from the UK, from Canada, wherever you guys want, you target it right here. I usually like to stick with English speaking countries, although the only one I stay away from is New Zealand. They just don't convert well for me. That's just from my experience and from what I sell. Obviously, if you guys are selling something different and something that's tailored towards that country, then you guys are going to be better off with that. But for this example, we're actually going to be creating a store that sells bracelets, men's fashion bracelets. So we're going to make a store like this. I've actually had this store in the past. About 2 years ago, I had one of these stores. It did fairly good for a couple of months, and then it just kind of started dying off, and then I moved on to another thing. So I've done the research beforehand, so I know what I'm talking about. All right, so let's get back into it. So we're going to target all the English-speaking countries, or the countries that are their main language is English. So we're going to go ahead, United States. We're going to then go for Canada. We're going to move on to the UK. Then let's go ahead for Australia. Like I mentioned, New Zealand, I usually stay away from it, but for demonstration purposes, we're just going to go ahead and add it. Then we're going to go down here in age group. We're going to target 18 to 39. Obviously, this is going to change depending on what you guys are selling, but it's a good starting point, 18 to 39. That's what I go for. Then from here on, what I do is I run this ad for a couple of days, then I go to see my data, and depending on what age group gets the most clicks is the age group I focus on. So again, this is just for testing purposes. As soon as we start getting some details from the ad, we're going to go ahead and select our age group, our more specific age group. Then gender, we're going to go with male because we are selling men's bracelets. Now, you guys might be tempted to sell for women because they're like, okay, they could just buy it for their boyfriend, their husband, or their father or whatnot. I do see the logic there, but I would not target women unless it was something like Father's Day. Then you guys would obviously go ahead and target women. But in this case, we're selling men's bracelet. Our main audience is going to be men. Then for languages, we're going to want to select English. And just to give you guys a little pointer, don't select every single language, like let's say Spanish, when your store is based or your store is solely in English. The reason for that is because, okay, let's say that people might be interested, but then they're not going to understand the language that the store is in. So keep that in mind. Now for detailed targeting, this is what do we want to target? What type of people do we want to target? The people that are interested in what certain things or that behave a certain way and whatnot, that's who we're going to target. Now for this case, we want to target brands that are similar to what we're selling. So we're going to have to look for men's bracelet brands that are similar to this, and then we're going to go from there. So what we're essentially doing is we're going after the following of that brand that is similar to the product we are selling. So what I like to do is open up a new tab, go to Google, and then in here we're going to select something like 20 best men's bracelet brands. Okay, we're going to look for something like I mentioned before. I've already done this, so I know what I'm doing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to select brands that are similar to what we're trying to sell. So here we have guitar string bracelet. There's really no brand in there. It's really generic. We're not going to go for that. Okay, Monzour, Bojangles paracord bracelet. We don't want what the bracelet's made of or the design. We want the brand. So we're going to go ahead, select the brand. We're going to copy it. We're going to paste it here. We found something. Here we go. The size of this audience is roughly around 300,000 people. So we're going to go ahead and select that. We're going to keep scrolling down, find another brand. Here we go. We have another one right here. We're going to copy it. We're going to add it over here. Nope, we didn't find anything, so we're going to delete it. And it's just a matter of trying to find the right brands or the brands that are closest to what you're selling. This looks very similar to what we're selling. So we're going to go ahead and just select the brand. Do not select the whole thing because leather ring bracelet, that's not going to show up on Facebook. Go ahead, paste it. Nothing. We're going to keep scrolling. We're going to keep scrolling something. You guys could skip around. You guys could try every single one. It's honestly up to you. Here we go. We're going to try this brand. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. Make sure you select the brands because the brands are the ones that build the following, not the material and not the design. So there we go. We found that one. Roughly around the same amount of audience or people behind it. Let's go ahead and select this one. Here we go. And you guys, that's all you guys have to do. Just look for brands that are similar to what you're selling. Let's repeat a brand. Just make sure you find brands that are similar to what you're selling. Look for audiences on your Facebook targeting. Go after a link, click one link, then click another one until you guys have a decent amount of targeting. So that's all you guys are going to do. Go on Google, type in top 10 best, whatever it is that you're trying to sell. If you guys are selling sporting equipment, then you're going to type that in. Top 10 sporting equipment. If you guys are selling, let's just say clothing, you're going to put top 10 brands that are similar to whatever it is that you're selling. So let's say you're trying to sell to people who are into rock, then you're going to obviously go towards brands that kind of gravitate towards that type of niche. You guys don't want to sell hip hop apparel to people who are into heavy metal. So make sure you use your common sense when it comes to targeting certain brands. Don't just try to go ahead and go after every single brand you guys find because it's not going to work. You guys are just going to be burning money for no apparent reason. And there is more things to it. There's other ways to go about and finding more products or finding who to target, but that's going to be for a later video. That's more advanced. This is just laying the basics. Just after you select that, make sure to leave this alone. Don't worry about that. I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but this over here changed. So then we're going to focus on placements. Where do we want our ad to be displayed? Make sure you go from automatic, you change automatic to edit placements because you don't want Facebook to guess where it should be shown. So we're going to click Facebook, make sure we unselect all of these. Now you guys are probably wondering what the heck, I thought we were targeting with Facebook or I thought we were selling ads through Facebook. We are, but we aren't using the Facebook platform to sell our ads or to display our ads at. We're actually going to be using Instagram as our main source of advertising. The reason we want to use Instagram is because you usually get a lot more conversions than you do with Facebook. Now, it's not always the case. There are people, and I do have students that manage to sell well with Facebook, but it all comes back down to testing. Make sure you test and test and test and see what works for you. Personally, I am better off with Instagram. A lot of my students are better off with Instagram. More people are willing to buy from Instagram than from Facebook. Facebook's a little bit dead. It's really hard to get any sales nowadays. That's why I typically go with Instagram. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to uncheck this. We don't want it to focus on any of this, just Instagram. Now, between feed and stories, if you guys want to run a feed story and a feed ad and a story ad, make sure you do 2 separate ads. Don't do that in the same thing. That way you're able to tailor one ad artwork to the stories and another one to the feed. And then you're able to compare what does better for you, if feed ads do better or story ads do better. So make sure you select either or. For this case, we're going to go with feed. Going to uncheck stories. Then we're going to scroll down here, leave this how it is. Then for daily budget, we're going to change that. And as soon as we change that, you're going to see this change dramatically, because we're not going to be spending $20 a day. Not yet, at least. We're going to be spending $5 a day. This is just for testing. When you want to spend 20 or 100 or whatever it is, that's when you've already identified who you're selling with or who you're selling to. You've identified your niche and everything, and you've run various ads and know what converts and what doesn't. So then you're going to leave this how it is. Don't worry about any of this. Just leave everything how it is. Make sure it's the same as mine. Then we're going to go ahead and click continue. And then that should bring us up to this section of the ad, which is the actual ad and how it looks like. What you want to do first is make sure you select the Facebook page that you're going for or you're going after. Make sure this is named after your brand or whatever it is you're trying to sell. Then for your Instagram account, make sure you do create an Instagram account. That's very important. The reason you don't want to leave it blank, if somebody posts something negative in your ad, you're not going to be able to delete that comment or do anything, because you're not going to be able to see it. So make sure to create a Facebook account. It's very, very important, so you're able to monitor what goes on your ad. Sometimes somebody posts something negative and you don't see it and it affects your ad. So make sure you guys create a Facebook ad and link them. Now, here in the format, we're going to go for single image. The only reason you should be going with this with multiple images is if you have multiple angles or you have various products. If you're having the same product like this, don't try to shoot different angles like backwards, forwards, sideways. Don't try to do any of that. It's just, you're just going to be taking up space. So make sure you select single ads. This is if it's something simple like this. Obviously, if you have outfits or trying to sell clothing, you guys could do multiple shots. But for this case, we're going to use single. Then in here, we're going to upload our image. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and select it. So another side note, if you didn't link your Instagram account, like I mentioned, if somebody sees this and it's like, okay, I really like this brand or whatnot, let me go ahead and follow them. If they try to click on it, you won't pop up. It won't take you to any Instagram page or anything like that. So you could lose a potential follower. So it's very important to create an Instagram account. Now down here in your text, this is what it's going to appear in the comment section or whatever you comment. So you guys could say something like, actually, let's do it free shipping. Over $15. And then you guys could add something more like 10% off. You guys could do something like that. Be creative. Do something that engages the audience, or just give out a discount code, or say 10% off, or buy 2 get 1 free. Something that makes the person who sees the ad want to click on it and find out more information. So in this part, you guys want to go ahead and add the URL of your website. So let's say that your website is blackbracelets.com. You want to make sure you go ahead and add that. So if you guys want to sell a specific item, like for example this, make sure you link it to, make sure you get the URL and you link it directly to this product. Don't link it to the overall store. For example, if your store is called blackbracelets.com and you want to sell this product, make sure your link looks something like this or sounds something like this. blackbracelets.com/black leather bracelet. And that's going to point the person directly to that product and not the whole store in general. Because what happens sometimes is that the person really likes the product that they see in the image, but you linked it to the store and now they have to go look for it, and it's just extra work, and sometimes they just might click out of it because they really don't want to spend that time looking for it. Unless you really do have a super desirable product, then they're going to look for the product regardless. So for call to action, we want to select shop now. And where is it? Here we go. And this is going to depend also on what you're trying to do. If you're selling products, obviously you're going to press shop now. If you're trying to get somebody's email, or if you're trying to get a reservation or something like that, you're going to change that depending on what it is you're trying to accomplish. In this case, since we're drop shipping and we're trying to sell products, we want to click shop now every single time. Then for overlay, just leave that how it is. Don't do this unless you have a store in a different language and whatnot. Leave this how it is. Don't worry about this. Then what you want to do is click confirm, and that's it. You're pretty much done. Now for me, it's giving me this here, but that's because I didn't add a URL and whatnot. For you, you should be fine. As soon as you add the URL, this would not appear for you. Click confirm, and then you're done with the ad. Now, I just want to go ahead and tell you guys, once you click confirm, your ad has to get approved. It takes some time, especially if you've never created an ad. It might take upwards of 2 or 3 hours. So do not panic. Don't think your account is frozen or anything like that. That's not the case. It's just the fact that your ad is brand new, or that your account is brand new, and they want to make sure that everything's in place and that everything's verified. So don't worry, everything's okay. Now, sometimes what might happen is that your ad might be approved right then and there, and then it actually takes about an hour or two to get approved. Sometimes it happens right away. Your ad gets approved instantaneously. It happens to me, but that's because I have a long history with Facebook ads. I've been running Facebook ads probably a little bit over 3 years now, and every time I create an ad, it gets approved instantly. Although it doesn't start launching, or it doesn't start showing the ad right away, it takes about an hour or so for it to be actually displaying the ad out into Instagram. So keep that in mind when you're running ads. It's not going to be instant. It takes a little bit, especially if you're brand new. So that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something. Now, if you guys want to get a little bit more in depth and find out more about dropshipping, make sure to check out my website. I'll leave the link down below, and you guys could learn a little bit more about dropshipping. You guys could download the free ebook. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.